up, you guys? Marty Schwartz here with Marty Music, and this lesson's going to be about the first few guitar scales that I think you should learn before getting overwhelmed with memorizing a bunch of shapes and scales. These are the most useful to learn right off the bat, to play guitar, learn, improve as fast as possible, and I think this will really help you. I wish someone had showed it to me this way when I started learning, but hey, that's what I'm here for now. Also, real quick, check it out in the description below. There's a link for martymusic.com, my website. I've got a bunch of very helpful courses with PDF diagrams and all that. Had them for years. They've helped a lot of people learn guitar. And when you sign my newsletter at martymusic.com, I'll actually send you some free courses that you can check out. And I appreciate that extra support. I really do. So anyway, enough of that. Let's get into the scales. Here we go. All right, there's a lot of scales you can learn on guitar, but if you just start getting bogged down memorizing a bunch of scales and you don't know what to do with them, you're actually slowing your guitar progress down. So instead, I'm going to show you, in my opinion, the best scales to work on and get under your fingers first and get experience with before you start kind of like slowing your progress down, memorizing a bunch of stuff. In the olden days, the first scale that you would typically learn on guitar is the C major scale. And that was typically because in a guitar store, when you would go in there, you would start reading music right away, like a piano lesson. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's really great. Reading music's a great skill to have. But if you're just like, no, I want to play and get good at guitar, that is actually not the quickest way to do it. It's a great scale to learn. I'm going to show it to you in a second. But the very first scale that you'll have fun with, and all the like classic rock riffs use it, all the greatest guitar solos use it, is the minor pentatonic scale. If you've been messing around with guitar, I'm sure you've heard of it. But I like to learn the first position of the minor pentatonic scale and get that down, get some licks down, maybe play it over a blues, learn some riffs that use that scale. And so I'll just show you the A minor pentatonic scale right now. We have an E note, first fret to F, up a whole step to G, and then up a whole step to A. I like playing the scale right here because it's right in the middle of the guitar neck, so you can go lower and you can go higher. Like that. But first we want to learn this. 5th fret, 8th fret. And then the next 3 strings, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 8, 5, 8. So that was ascending the scale, meaning going from the lowest note to the highest note in that position. And then descending. 8, 5, 8, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 8, 5. You know, all that good soloing blues stuff is right there in that scale. we get that down, you get a lot of use out of the actual techniques involved learning it. And then also it's the most used shape and scale for all guitar soloing. And the more you learn about it, the more you realize that you can study it for the rest of your life, like I am currently doing. So that's one super valuable scale right there. The next one is learning that in the open E position, because a lot of blues, which all the guitar, rock, and soloing kind of came from the blues. So even if you're not super interested in the blues, getting some blues down is going to help you with your rock playing and all guitar playing in general, mainstream kind of music. So the other one is that same scale, but starting with the open root. And so this would be in that classic Back in Black, and so many others. So learning it in the open position looks like this. O, I'll say O for open, not 0. O for open. O, 3. And then the next string, O, 2. Next string, O, 2. Next string, O, 2. Next string, O, 3. And then O, 3. And I'm using, anytime I have the 3rd fret, I'm using my 3rd finger. Anytime I have the 2nd fret, I'm using my middle finger. Descending, 3-0, 3-0, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, 3-0. Another amazing thing about that open E minor pentatonic is that it has actually what's called the relative major. So when you, any minor pentatonic scale that you play has a way you can shift it to become a major scale. And what you do is, instead of thinking of open E and playing it over an E type of progression, you can think of that second note up the scale and play it over G major. And now you have or a bluegrass. And so another cool thing about that is that you can basically take any of your open chords, like C, G, and D, and intermingle those open, or just that scale, like this, watch. Okay, so once you're working on those, the next thing that I'll show you in this video is the C major scale in the open position, because it's all the natural notes. So if you did decide to read music, and also a lot of melodies and stuff come from this scale, it's a good one to know. We'll start with the root of the scale, which for the open position, C major scale, meaning no sharps, no flats, It starts on a C note, so that's the 3rd fret A string, and you would play this. 3rd fret, open D. It's the do, re, mi. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Oops. So 3, open, 2, 3, open G, 2, open B, 1st fret. So I just went from C to C. C to shining C. But since we have the other strings in there, we can keep going lower. It just doesn't end on the root. And we can keep going higher and it doesn't end on the root. But it's all the natural notes, no sharps or flats, in this first open position. You just have O, 1, 3 on the low E string. Anything on the low E strings, the same on the high E string. O, 1, 3. So let's start and end on C though. 3rd on the B. Open, 1, 3. So that's the open C major scale. The next one is definitely like this, I think the 2nd scale. I learned the pentatonic first. Maybe I learned that at the same time when I took a few I knew how to play guitar. Like I knew some songs, I knew the open chords. And I could strum some Neil Young and Beatles songs like Let It Be or, you know, No Woman, No Cry, stuff like that. Bob Marley. Just some easy songs, some Neil Young, Heart of Gold, I think. Maybe a couple Eagles songs. And I didn't know anything that I was doing, but I knew the names of the chords, and that was about it. So I might have learned that at the same time as the pentatonic scale. But the other one that is really valuable just for your music knowledge is that major scale that's movable, where you find the root on the E string. So if I want to play that same C major scale on the E string root, it's the 8th fret, and you put your middle finger there. So that's a C note, but this is movable. If I want, you know, that's C major, but here's B major, B flat major, A major, A flat, G major, G flat. Right, so it's the same shape anywhere you move it. Let's go to C major. Just so you can hear that it's the same notes. Middle finger on the root. So that's 8, pinky on 10. And then 7, 8, 10. Then 7, 9, 10. Then 7, 9, 10 on the G string. Then 8 to 10 only on the B string, and I'm using middle finger pinky. Then 7, 8, 10. Backwards. 10, 8, 7, 10, 8. I don't know if I said 9 earlier, but 10, 8. 10, 9, 7, 10, 9, 7. 10, 8, 7. 10, 8. And then you have a note below it. 7, 8. Oops. All right, so just to recap, minor pentatonic with the root on the E string. Minor pentatonic in the key of E, open position. Then the C major scale in the open position. Then the major scale with the root on the E string. And there's more, but that's what you want to start with. The next thing I would do, though, since we're here, is take that minor pentatonic and learn the extension below and above, which would look like this. I'm not going to break it down yet, but there's a lot of videos on it and courses at martymusic.com. So you can start not just going across, but also lower, higher, almost like diagonally up and down. Then the other thing would be to learn the minor pentatonic, but with the root on the A string, and that's the other shape. So don't memorize the 5 shapes of the pentatonic first. Learn the E root and the A root first, and then the extensions of those. And that's going to get you memorizing in a more natural way than just shape memorizing. So if I wanted to play the E minor pentatonic, which I did here, you could play it here, like we learned with the E root. All those same notes exist everywhere on the neck, but if you plug in the A root, that would be the next thing to learn and get down, then that extension. So that looks like this. This is now the E minor pentatonic with the root on the A string. So 7th fret A, and I would play 7, 10, 7, 9, 7, 9, 8, 10, 7, 10. That's the root, but you also have this. Just a little example there. It's not in that key right there, but that's comes from the pentatonic with one extra note. So you'd also have a 7, 10 on the low E. Then you'd have an extension of that. So review that as much as you need to, and I go way in depth in this stuff at martymusic.com. All right, I hope you guys got something out of that. I hope it was helpful. That information helped me, especially reflecting back on teaching and playing for so many years. That's the stuff I think you should do. Also, though, if you want some free courses, you can sign my newsletter over at martymusic.com in the description below, and I'll send you some free courses that will help you even more. So thank you again for the continued support, and I hope to see you again. Take care.